wake me up when September ends. I kind of always have assumed that song was about 9/11, but I've never actually looked it up myself to confirm. Welcome back to your go-to 9/11 podcast, a whole new pod. I am your host, Lucas Melby.
And I'm Jacob Telejohn.
And it's been a while. We did wait for September to end. Not specifically because we hate September. Though this past September...
We hate September.
I wasn't a huge fan of September. It's kind of a stressful month. I started a new job, so that brought on some stress.
No.
I had some family stuff going on. Jacob had some personal tragedies, like starting a TikTok. So there was just a lot going on where we obviously took off some time. Now that we're in like kind of phase 2 of Disney Channel, post High School Musical, we really have to think about what we want to do. And that meant that we didn't do a podcast for a while.
We stepped back. We had weddings. We had, like you said, a lot of stuff going on. Busy, but we're here now, and that's what matters most.
I don't want to skate by Jacob's TikTok.
Oh, golly.
It's not my cup of tea, I'll say that. But ironically, and we've talked about some of your past YouTube forays on here.
Yeah.
Ironically, TikTok just as itself, which I believe used to be Musical.ly.
Yes.
Which was all just about people lip syncing to music and whatever.
My jam.
That was a decent portion of at least some of your YouTube channels. I don't remember the name of the specific one, but there was one where you just would wear a ski mask.
Yes.
And then lip sync to songs. And I thought it was moderately funny. But as we talked about before, usually your YouTube channels all devolved into you just doing clickbaity headline grabs of you talking in your basement.
Trending news.
And I only saw one TikTok that you did about...
The Gabby Petito thing.
That thing is all so weird. I think it's largely grown out of a bunch of fucking... white people with too much time on their hands that listen to too many true crime podcasts and watch too many true crime doc-series think they can solve these crimes. And then they blew up this whole thing about this poor girl that died. And Jacob's like, I'm in on it. Let me get in.
I mean, like, that's been the only really news thing I think I've covered.
Okay. Well, I've seen 2 of your TikToks. One was you lip syncing.
Yeah.
I'll just say, if you continue down the line of news TikToks, you gotta get full... background of the basement. You gotta have the basement and the couch behind you.
The whole background.
Gotta maybe wear like some wrestling shirts, wear a crow sting mask, you know. That's what people look for with their news media.
Yes.
The fake news media. That's Jacob Telejohn's
Check it out.
slogan.
Jacob_Telejohn. Check it out.
I'll let you plug the TikTok.
Jacob_Telejohn. Maybe we got some TikTok listeners in here. Comment below. Say I'm from TikTok. TikTok sent me.
Nobody's going to do that.
We might get one.
Because nobody cares about the movie we watched today. Actually, that's not true. Maybe. Because the stars maybe cared. Because the stars, Allie and AJ, who were a music group for Disney of some renown. Allie, the older sister, was, of course, in Now You See It. As well as
Phil of the Future. I really enjoyed that show. I'm not going to say my favorite show, but I enjoyed Phil of the Future.
Always talking about Phil of the Future. For some reason, Phil of the Future occupies the same space in my mind as Kyle XY, which was that weird show about the kid with no belly button who slept in a bathtub or something.
Was that a Disney show?
No. I think it was an ABC family show, so technically within the Disney
realm, within the universe.
AJ, the younger sister... I think she was in some Disney stuff. I don't recall. I didn't look it up.
Yeah.
But I saw, as I was researching, the small amount I always do for each episode, that there was some news headline from like 2019 that Allie and AJ, because they have since like spun off to continue with their music, but on their own outside of Disney. Yeah. I don't remember the name that they go with, but it's not Allie and AJ. But that they were talking about making a sequel to Cowbells on Disney Plus, and that was 2 years ago.
Wow, that would be weird.
I don't think there's really the demand for it, like Raven's
Under Wraps.
Home, or everybody they're too busy making Under Wraps reboots to make Cowbells sequels. Yeah, that's on the Wikipedia page. I'm like, I could be wrong.
It would be cool.
I don't even know what that sequel would be. There's no.
They own the building now. Or maybe they're chasing after the guy that took all their money.
Okay, yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Oh, God.
That's the only thing I could think of. But all right, so let's get into it. Cowbells. I came in with certain expectations about what I thought this movie was going to be. And I say I was pleasantly surprised that what I thought this movie was going to be, I was prepared to really not be into it. Started out a little shaky, but in the end, I ended up feeling pretty good about it overall.
And that's kind of how I ended up being on it, too. It ended up being an enjoyable film.
It's a film.
It's a piece of artwork.
They showed this in the cinema. All right, so we're opening up on our main character, Taylor, who is Allie. Yes. And she is taking her driving tests, which is a source of stress for both me and Jacob. We've talked about Jacob's fear of driving. He has gotten his driver's license. But I also was a very late person to get my driver's license. I didn't get mine until I was 21. So this was a little flashbacks triggering here. The opening of this is really strange in a way that I thought, because she's driving around and it's kind of establishing the geography of the city they live in. They show the sign River City to show where it is. They also show like people walking into a dentist's office, and they pan over to show the dentist office's sign, and I'm like, are they going to go to the dentist in this movie?
Yeah,
and none of it actually comes back into play, and so that's just something that popped up now as I'm reading my notes. It's like, yeah, that was nothing.
No purpose.
It was just a weird. I thought it was like, oh, the town's going to play a bigger role, but it didn't.
No, it really only takes place at 3 locations, maybe.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. Taylor, she is kind of dressed similar to, I don't know, maybe like Stuck in the Suburbs, or very kind of like Clueless style, like bright colors, really kind of.
Yeah.
We quickly gather that she's an aloof, rich, kind of snobby girl.
Yes.
She's making some faux pas during her test, like trying to turn on the radio, and the proctor's like, what are you doing?
And then she's like, isn't it like the person behind the wheels, like job that can control the radio? And he's like, no, during the driving test.
And then she's trying to butter him up a bit by giving him some compliments, saying, oh, you've got great eyes, and then giving him fashion advice to wear pastels.
But he's like eating it up. He's like, yes, tell me more, sister.
I mean, hey, I'm always open, and not that I ever receive it, but like, hey, if somebody's giving me fashion advice, or at least like workable stuff, I'll at least listen.
Advice from women? Lucas is taking advice from women now.
I said I'm not getting that, but I would at least, I'll hear you out.
Yes.
Then she gets a call on her cell phone, which is her sister Courtney, who's out shopping for a dress for this. We'll learn as the movie goes along, for this big dance, this cotillion, this coming out dance party. I don't know if it's kind of like a Sweet 16 or like quinceañera, like 15 to 16 age time.
They never mentioned, like, it's not like a birthday.
I thought it was a birthday.
Yeah, but it's not.
Like, oh, it's Courtney's party, but it's not. It's kind of like a debutante ball, but without all of like the southern trappings. So I didn't really understand it, but hey, I'm not rich, so maybe it's just, hey, rich people things.
Exactly.
So she's talking about her dress, and then the driver's like, you can't talk on a fucking cell phone while taking your driver's test. So she passes the phone along to him, and she kind of is like, what is she saying? All right, now I tell her this. Is it terracotta? Haha, very funny stuff. At the end of the test, the proctor is kind of giving a speech, seeming to be building up that he's going to fail her. Taylor.
But then here she comes out of left field. Hey, like, it's fine, but I'm just going to enjoy looking forward to taking the test with you. I'm always going to request you and only you until we get this right.
And she's going to be there every single day.
Every day doing this test with you.
I doubt she would be able to get in every day. But she's a rich girl. She's used to getting what she wants, which the proctor points out to her. But in this case, she does get what she wants.
He's terrified. He doesn't want to see this woman again. No, thank you.
I'll see her again.
Oh.
In my Netflix queue, because she's a star of iZombie. Then we're introduced to Daddy, who is a business daddy, but swerve, he's a good business daddy.
Yes.
He'll still be gone for most of the movie, but he's a nice guy, and we know that because he's talking to his business partner, Bob. Part of the conversation says, Bob, money isn't everything. And actually, you know what? Bob maybe will take some of that to heart. That the money is not the most important thing to business daddy.
Yeah.
It seems that business daddy has some... Hey, when you're rich, Gotta have some weird collection.
Yeah, weird fetishes, weird
You gotta
collections.
spend money on something. So he apparently is into collecting butterflies.
Loves butterflies.
Some elusive golden butterfly that is only in Ecuador, but his nice business partner Bob has booked him a trip to Ecuador. Oh, it's gonna conflict with Courtney's coming out party. She probably won't even notice you're not there. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We'll do this trip. So the sisters come back from Taylor passing her test, and we're picking up really quickly that they're snobby, rich, only thinking about themselves because Taylor, how did she get to her driver's test? She was taken by the housekeeper, so the dad's like, where's the housekeeper? Oh, we dropped her off at the grocery store. Well, how is she going to get home? No, she'll take a cab. She can't take all those groceries in a cab. Oh, you're right.
Oopsies.
And then the dad's like, okay, I'll go pick her up. So it's just like, they suck. And I kind of had a discussion with Jacob where I was worried this movie was going to be, because Disney Channel has annoying characters that we're probably not supposed to like,
yes.
But they never go all in to make you really not like them.
There was, I think the one sister in this movie was
She's
bad.
horrible.
She is bad.
But it's usually kind of like in Twitches, the rich one. I found her annoying as an adult, but as a kid, you're probably like, she's rich, but like, I still kind of like her. Likably snobby, as opposed to something like in Mean Girls or Clueless, where like these people are horrible, but you enjoy them. You love to hate them, whereas I feel like Disney kind of likes to have their cake and eat it too.
Yes.
The characters are a bit too much of tweeners, if you will. But the dad, he's a nice dad, and he gifts his daughter, Taylor.
25.
No.
A
car.
A car, yes. Other sister.
A classic car,
yes.
which I believe
nice
was
car.
a Mustang convertible.
So, like the way he was talking it up, kind of, like, you and I think, both thought they were going to get, like, a really crappy car, and even she thought she's, like, was going to get a crappy car. He's like, it's like a vintage. She's like, what does that mean, old and girls? But as soon as he said vintage, I'm like, okay, she's going to get a nice car. And it was a nice car. But for reference, it sells for $9,000 later.
Well, that's just, she doesn't know what it is probably worth.
Yes.
It's a banana, Michael. How much could it cost? $5?
Yeah. It was a nice red, we don't know cars. It was a nice red old car.
I think it was a Mustang. I think I saw a horse on the grill. So I think can put those together.
Yeah.
But it's a stick shift.
Yes.
And she doesn't know how to drive stick.
No.
So we cut to, the dad's business daddy, he owns a dairy business.
And a jam business, and
yeah,
who knows
they do spreadables, I guess. Yogurt.
Spreadables, I like
jam, maybe cottage cheese.
Yes.
But we cut to the dairy farm, which I think the dad also owns, which supplies the dairy factory to make the dairy products.
Yeah.
Some of the business ownership and production line stuff of this is a little confusing for me, but I'm not in the dairy business. I do like dairy, though. Both of my brothers, though, have recently discovered that they can eat dairy because it makes them feel bad in different ways. So That's going to make holidays going forward a little controversial.
So it just like randomly happened out of nowhere. They could always consume dairy, but now they can't?
If your body goes through changes, and now my
that's 100%
my
a
psoriasis.
Oh, no.
I can't have the dairy.
Oh, no.
It upsets my psoriasis.
Oh,
That's
God.
exactly what my brother sounds like. And this is the one who actually sometimes listens to the podcast. So
yeah,
if you're listening, this is where you text me to say, hey, don't make fun of my psoriasis to your throngs, your giant audience out there. So we're cutting to this dairy farm, and we're meeting Jackson, who is the son of the farm owner. Should be said, farm owner doesn't have a wife. Taylor and Courtney also don't have a mom. She died at some point. So very Disney Channel of the two main families.
It's very common for
flying dad
Disney
solo
characters
right
to have a single parent.
So Jackson's hearing from his dad, oh, I got to teach her to drive. Taylor's such a snotty, condescending, excuse me. And Taylor was behind him the whole time.
And then the dad has to apologize. Oh, I'm so sorry. We didn't know you were here. Like, this is still when she's pretty snooty.
Definitely. She says, like, oh, you think I'm condescending? You're dirty and nasty.
Yeah, she was a real twat.
All right, we were in there. We got it in.
Twat.
But he's holding a pig, and I'm like, why are there pigs on a dairy farm? And he hands the pig over to her, and I would also probably freak out. I mean, I try to pick up dogs and stuff and it goes poorly. So if I'm holding a baby pig, I probably wouldn't be into it. Trying to show her how to drive his truck and she's not getting it. And he's like, oh, you're such a fucking idiot.
And then he's like, stop the truck. So they stop the truck.
Well, she eventually learns, they kind of have a more settled down moment. And he's like, okay, sorry. I'll try to be nice here. All right, take it from the top, clutch, and I don't know how to drive stick.
Yeah, they're driving around the yard.
And then he's like, wait, I gotta check on Martha.
The cow who's pregnant.
And this is not a Batman versus Superman reference of, your cow's named Martha too? No, but Martha is a pregnant cow, so she is a mom.
Yes.
So Jackson says, hey, stay in the truck. I'm going to go check on Martha.
Does she stay in the truck? No.
Cows are very exciting.
Does she put the parking brake on? No.
Yes. I mean, yes to no. So, yeah, she comes in checking out the cow, and he's like, I told you to stay in the truck. Oh, well, whatever. Fuck you. I do what I want.
Like, he seemed very concerned about stopping. It was like an urgent, like, stop.
Like a very pregnant cow.
Yeah, we thought something was, like, bad happening.
Yeah, it is weird for him to also be like, wait,
stop. Oh, my God.
Martha.
And he's like, no, it's nothing, no big deal. I'm just checking to see how she's doing. She's pregnant, whatever.
But yeah, so she does not put the parking brake on, so the truck rolls into a nearby pond.
And it sinks completely.
Completely submerged.
Glub, 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 and it's spitting up bubbles.
Yes, it's
glubbing.
Wonderful.
It's glubbing.
Already, I think this is... I assume they outright said this, but if it's not... It's very clear that this movie was inspired by the Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie reality television series.
Wow.
The Simple Life, which was basically about rich girls having to live on a farm with like a farm family. So that's where I thought this movie was going to go.
Likewise.
Where it was going to become Girl Horse Sense, which I say because Horse Sense was already basically rich guy going to a farm. This would be rich girls going to a farm. And if that was the case, I was not into that premise. But there's very little farm stuff on here, really.
This is really about it. I don't know. There's a few references. We do see more.
Martha does come back.
Yeah.
So that was a pleasant surprise. I really thought it was going to be like, these rich girls getting dirty. Isn't this funny? Oh, they broke a nail or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that it didn't go in that direction. Taylor is obviously, she's like, oh, I feel terrible. I'm the worst person because she ruined his truck. And she says, you know what? My dad will pay to fix it, though. Cut to dad. I will what? And then he's like, money don't grow on trees around here.
He was upset. He spaghetti. It was about $2,800, I think. It was like $800 to recover it from the lake.
And Taylor is very good at math.
Yeah, and she's like, well, I can't remember what calculations she's doing, but she's
shopping math and also bank math.
She's doing it all the time.
Different kinds of math.
Yes.
But the dad, he balks at like $2,800, and it's like, dude, you're going on a freaking lark vacation to Ecuador to fucking kill a butterfly or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we'll quickly hear him talking about the budget for Courtney's cotillion party, which is $25,000.
$25,000. And like he's like acting like it's like no big deal. He's like, she's like, well, Daddy, you know what we agreed to for my bank? She's like, yes, sweetie, like $25,000.
And it's like, if he owns this farm, which I think he maybe does, just buy him a new truck, get him some nice stuff, or there's a junker truck anyway.
Yeah.
We're already getting inklings that, hey, Dad's had enough. These girls, they out of control. Women be shopping. Am I right, guys?
Hey.
My next note is, but he's fine with spending $25,000.
A party?
Not a birthday party, just a party. It's not even a birthday party.
And that's not.
Maybe it's bigger than a birthday party.
That's only a fraction of how much is going into this party.
Yeah, we'll later see the party planning committee.
It's like $100,000 party.
Yeah, where it's 4 girls having this party, and they all have to share it equally, so yeah.
$100,000.
Have we seen that party? I don't know, it doesn't seem that great.
It wasn't that good.
The band they got, it was not...
It wasn't like Green Day.
It was not the Mighty Mighty Boss Toads from Clueless. So the dad going on this trip by himself, so he's leaving them alone. Then they start cooking. They're trying to heat up some soup, which I'm like, don't they have a housekeeper? I know this is supposed to be that they're aloof, they don't know how to cook or whatever, but they still have a housekeeper who probably should be cooking for them. But they get a phone call about some dress being in, so they leave the soup on the stove, and Taylor had thrown a towel over it.
Yeah, well, I don't think she did it on purpose. She didn't intentionally throw the towel on the fire. But, like, she just, like, kind of just threw it because they got a phone call to go somewhere.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, it was to go shopping for something.
Yeah,
because then we see them coming back.
Came
Yes.
into the store or whatever.
So, yes, they're coming back, and then they see all the fire department outside.
Apparently, the housekeeper was there to call in the fire, so it was a fairly controlled burn.
It was just right. It wasn't even, like, the entire kitchen. It's just, like, above the stove.
Yeah, and the dad says, "Your mom loved the kitchen. I'd always say, lady, get back in there." This was where she made some of our best recipes.
Yeah, these were all
like, what?
homemade recipes.
Like yogurt? She's coming up with yogurt in your
and
kitchen?
Milk. How to curdle milk.
And jam?
Jams, yes. Jams.
So that was kind of weird. Now the dad's really getting pissed.
He's upset. He's spaghetti.
And I thought he was going on his trip that morning, so I thought like he had come back from his trip
likewise.
because of the firefighters. But this was just like a normal day.
I thought he was gone too.
So obviously he's really pissed, and he's like, "Hey, you know what? You guys are going to earn your keep. You're going to get a summer job. You're going to earn the stuff you want. You're going to learn the value of a hard day's work."
At $5 an hour.
We don't know what they meant.
No, we never do find out their paychecks. We just know they get paid weekly, though.
I was even surprised that they ended up... Well, I don't know if they actually ever do get paid themselves, but that the idea would be that they actually, like, get a paycheck. I just figured it'd be like, Dad says, "Hey, you go work," and then he buys whatever they want anyways. So the next morning, their dad, what a jokester, wakes them up with a bugle going, you know,
and I was wondering if they had set their own alarms, because, I mean, I don't feel like they would willingly set their alarm for 5:30 a.m., but their alarms are going off, and yes, he was bugling.
Rich people, they don't use alarms.
I don't know. He's a fun dad, but they got up and they got to work on time.
Mm-hmm. He's like, "You sure you're gonna be okay? Because I'm going on this trip. I don't got cell service. You ain't gonna be able to hear from me." Of course, Daddy. So they meet up at work with business partner Bob. Oh, you're right
Uncle
on time. Bob. He's doing some business spreadsheets on the computer, just tapping away.
But now looking back at it, we know what he was doing.
I don't even know if that's what was happening, but, you know, it's one of those things where it's a Disney Channel movie business of spreadsheets, numbers. Business.
Yeah.
He gives them a tour and passes them off to Fran, who's kind of the floor head. She runs the production line, and there's all these vats of milk and yogurt's coming from somewhere. There's a big thing of, looks like just giant cottage cheese.
Yeah, maybe it was pretty gross.
I don't know.
It was like chunky, and there was like 4 people like twirling their sticks around in it or something.
Buckets of like the chunks, and
yeah, it was kind of gross.
And Fran's very nice. Seems to have known the girls from the past, and she's excited for them to be there. But they didn't realize that they were going to work on the floor. They thought they'd be up in, you know, business land doing numbers because, hey, Taylor, she's good at that shopping math and bank math.
Yes.
But nope, they get some hair bouffants put on their head, some white lab coats or whatever, and they're getting put to work.
They are putting cups in dispensers and putting lids on cups.
Hey, I'm not like saying that automation is great because it's taking away jobs.
I feel like those were all.
This feels like there is some ways to make this more efficient.
Yeah.
Hey, people getting paid, I'm not mad about that.
No.
But Courtney takes out her phone and she's going to take a picture of her sister because she's wearing all this goofy work clothes. She looks like a poor. But Taylor tries to wrestle the phone out of her hands and it gets dropped in a vat, or not a vat, a big container of yogurt. But they kind of miss which one it was in because they were fighting. So now they're like, "Stop the line!" And
some guy's freaking out on him. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna be behind. It's coming out of your paycheck. This is, oh God, where's it at?"
Like, "We gotta waste the whole batch because of your dumb bitch ass."
And then she's like, "Hold on, let me call you." And she's like, "Why are you calling me? I'm right here."
Yeah, Courtney sucks.
She's dumb. She's mean.
But Taylor calls her phone, and the phone's still working in the yogurt, so they can find which one it was. The guy says, "We've lost 4 minutes of time. How am I going to make that up?" And I'm like...
Rain Man. They reference her as Rain Man.
Yeah, that comes up, I think, a little later. But at one point they say,
so it'll
Taylor's like Rain Man with math.
If you run it this much faster, it'll be 16 seconds a minute, but then we'll catch up in 16 minutes.
But really, I don't think 4 minutes is that great of a production setback, especially, again, when they have people who are just like, putting lids on the yogurt and cups. Yeah, I don't know. This does not look like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory or anything. So then they go to lunch in the break room, and all the employees absolutely
stare at
pissed
them.
to see them.
Pissed.
It seems to be a combination of that they don't like them because they're rich, but also they all heard about them holding up the production line.
Yeah.
They're so devoted to their job that they're pissed about it.
Pissed.
So one of their friends is named Heather, and her dad works at the milk company. So she's like a lower class friend of theirs.
Yes.
We also see, who's this hunky milk boy? Oh, he's a foreign
I'm from
exchange
France.
student of Richie's family. The rich
Yes.
kid Richie. His name is Philippe. He's from France.
Philippe from France.
Courtney's.
But he looks like he's like 30.
Yeah.
He looks very out of place.
He's an intern there at the milk factory.
He's the milkman.
Anyways, Courtney's quite taken with him.
Yes.
Then there's a lunchtime jug band.
What do they call it? A jam. Something jam.
Homegrown jams.
Yeah.
This was your dad's idea, is to make all of the workers play music during lunch break.
They don't get paid for it. They just do it for fun, and they skip their lunch breaks to play music.
And the girls both seem to hate it.
Or they're embarrassed, maybe.
I don't know, but eventually they decide to clap
do like
along.
it, and they're like, "The hee-haw, yee-haw."
And then I thought there was a moment, but I wasn't quite listening to what they were saying. Fran was the one singing.
Yeah.
And she says, "Anybody else want to sing?" And then I think Taylor says "Oh, I'd like to." And then they all laugh at her and say no. I don't know if that actually happens. I don't know, because then I thought that was a setup where she's going to sing at some point, but then she never sings. So I probably just was misreading what was happening in the scene, because I was talking to Jacob about... Jacob didn't think Fran was actually singing or something.
No, I mean, it was good singing. I was skeptical.
Well, it's just Dolly Parton? I don't believe this.
That's it. It sounded pretty good.
Then the girls, we learned that this dairy factory also makes jam or something, because they spill a bunch of blueberry jam on themselves. They do a whoop slip because they're wearing high heels or whatever. And then we see somebody erasing the days without injury board and putting it down to 0.
Yeah, and
they were up to 270 something.
Yeah, but they're not injuries. I think they were just restarting because it was a lost time.
Well, that one maybe because
a lost time thing, I think, is what it was.
Their tailbone was probably a little sore.
Other things can lead to sore tailbones, but
yeah, Jacob.
Not lost time.
Jacob knows about. Jacob's like, I know workplace injuries. I got to miss work because I broke my collarbone getting a ball.
It's true.
They run into Jackson as they're leaving.
Yes.
Because he's there to drop off some milk. He's got a big milk truck and he's got his milk hose.
He's the big milkman.
And Taylor says, "Oh, hey, my dad gave me your check to fix your truck." He's like, you can just mail it to me. "Oh, well, I actually kind of wanted to see Martha too." And Jackson's like, "Oh, Shoddy's into heifers.
Heifers.
All right. I'll see this heifer again."
I didn't expect to ever hear that word in my life again.
So then they decide to meet up on, I don't know, later that day, I guess?
Yeah, later that night, around, 6, 7 or something like that.
So then we get an exciting music montage
of
sung
both
by
of them.
Allie and AJ.
Yes.
Of Jackson and Taylor getting ready, including a very up-close shot of Jackson spraying spray deodorant into his armpit.
Yeah.
Hey, the ladies love it.
Love the
This was the era
shots.
of "Want Your Bod." Remember those commercials?
Oh, no.
They made me very uncomfortable.
Oh, no.
I'd be watching that with my family. I'd be like,
Oh, no.
All these hot ladies saying, "I want your bod."
What was that for Axe?
No, it's for bod.
Oh, Bod Fragrance. I forgot that was even a brand.
Jacob's like, "I wish the girls were saying I want your bod when I'm wearing the Axe body spray." But during this music montage, Taylor's also yawning because, hey, she worked a full day.
She had a long day.
And she actually falls asleep.
And sleeps for 30 hours.
It's probably 12.
It was a long rest.
So Courtney, meanwhile, got all the energy in the world.
But you also see her dude waiting on her. And he throws the flowers away. He gets very upset and pissed.
Because the time just keeps on spinning and spinning and spinning.
Yeah.
Into this next scene where Courtney meets up with her friend Heather, and the two concoct a plan. It was something like, "Oh, how can you invite Philippe when he's Richie's foreign exchange student, but you didn't invite Richie to the party?" So they go over to Richie's house, and Richie's this super nerdy rich kid. He's like, "Oh, is there going to be video games at this party? And they say, no, there's going to be lots of pretty girls, though. I don't know about that. Well, maybe you feel more comfortable if you brought, I don't know, a friend. Maybe you've got a foreign exchange student. I do have a foreign exchange student. I felt bad for Richie.
They still invited him, though. You know, the nice thing to do.
Yeah,
they were
that
using
way
him.
They
were abusing
hunky
him.
Milk Boy. There's lots of hunky milk boys in this.
There are.
But this one I'm talking about is Philippe.
Philippe from France.
And then the most relatable moment happens where Taylor wakes up. She's initially the next morning. Oh my God, I stood up Jackson.
This has happened to me before.
But then Courtney comes in and is like, whatever, we got to get up to work. The worst part is, we got to do this every day. And
Every day.
Don't I know it? Though, for them, they probably don't.
They don't.
So they go into work and they see everybody's pissed off because
the
day before
bounced.
was payday, weekly payday, which is, hey, that's pretty nice for the dairy workers, but their checks bounced. And accountant Melvin does not have the answer.
And Bob is gone.
No,
not
he's
yet.
not. Business partner Bob does come in,
still there,
and he immediately accuses their dad. He says,
that's
I think
right.
business daddy maybe had more than just clothes in his bag.
That's right.
If you know what I mean. The workers are okay. Yeah, I can see it. And then Fran and the sisters. No,
he's
our
a humanitarian.
Dad could never do that.
He would never do that. He's a humanitarian. Look at all he does. You know, good for you guys here.
So then Bob says, "Hey, you know what, guys? He's in a place with no cell phone reception. I'm going to go fly down there and find him."
Yes.
This is the last we ever see of Bob.
Yeah. He's gonzo until the sequel that comes out never.
So then the girls go into Bob's office to try to find him. But then they see in the garbage there's a framed picture
Smashed.
of Bob and their dad, and it's broken. How could this happen? Maybe it just broke and he threw it away. Why wouldn't he get it fixed? And Taylor pretty quickly says, hey, maybe Bob's the bad guy, and he stole all the money and now ran away with it.
So, yeah, I mean, like, we'll say this right now. Like you said, we don't see Bob again. I think both of us kind of thought it was maybe going to be kind of a mystery movie, like trying to figure out like who it was.
I did not. Jacob was insistent because they go to Fran's house immediately to tell her, and he says, I think Fran's the bad one.
Some people like seem very sus. Very sussy.
I only started to be like questioning it after Jacob was like, it's him, it's her. And then there was one scene with Fran where I'm like,
looking really creepy.
But then like the rest of the time I'm like, no. And thankfully it's not who stole the money. That's like kind of almost a forgotten plot point.
Yeah. But it kind of felt like we're maybe going to get a little twist, with our lime.
So yeah, they go to tell Fran, and Fran says, oh, I guess it could be Bob. And her husband, who works at the dairy as well, says, yeah, he always seemed kind of sus.
Sussy baka.
And then
Aaron
they're
Yeager.
going to leave, and they say, hey, stay along to make pizzas with us. So then they have a funny scene making pizzas.
Yes.
And establishes Fran as a very nice lady because, wow, we're making a lot of pizzas. We got like 3 pizzas here. Well, this one is for our nice elderly neighbor who lives alone. So Jacob's still like, she's the villain. She's the villain. All this niceness is just a facade. He's working with Disney Channel brain, where Disney Channel has made him think that there's always a secret bad guy, which actually is also the
movie
premise,
Mason,
which is also kind of the premise of a lot of modern Disney movies, where there's always a secret bad guy you don't expect, and it's always like, okay, I guess Zootopia, the villain was the sheep deputy mayor or whatever.
Oh. Spoiler.
Obviously, the big one is Anna's love interest in the first Frozen. And then they're like, all right, we're all in on this. Everybody's a secret bad guy now. Everybody's the imposter. Courtney is still trying to... Oh, yeah, this is the committee meeting with all of her rich, snobby friends for the cotillion. And Courtney is like, well, I got to stick to this $25,000 budget, so we can't add all too much stuff. And
They were trying to cut out like
Courtney
balloons.
Being like, I don't want to spend more. It's that I can't spend more because my dad isn't here to increase.
Correct.
So she is still very much rich, out of touch girl.
Yeah, she's still very snooty. And the other girl, I think the other girl's already kind of switched. She's already starting to change.
She's already
did her transition.
Taylor is So she suggests to Courtney, hey, you got what, 25 G's for that party? Maybe we could use it to pay all the people who didn't get paid for last week. And Courtney's like, how dare you? Why are you being so mean? You got a party. You got your coming out party. Why would you take this away from me? Oh my God, you're so selfish.
Yeah, it was...
Woo, okay, they really ranked her up to be fully
really
unlikable.
biatchy.
Taylor calls Jackson, but he doesn't want to talk to her.
Yeah, he's still upset. He's spaghetti, and it's deservingly so. You know, it's warranted.
And then they go into work the next day, and there's a full-on, like, worker revolt occurring where, I think rightfully so, the workers are like, if I ain't getting paid, I ain't fucking handling this cottage cheese bullshit.
And that is fair.
Where's
that
my
is
GD
warranted.
money?
They're upset.
So they're having a big floor meeting. Nobody's working. Fran's trying to be, hey, we owe business daddy. He's always been good to us. Let's just work again. I don't care about business daddy. I care about my fucking landlord. He's going to be wondering where the money coming from. You think he's going to wait a week? Fuck you, Fran. And everybody's pissed. And Courtney's kind of just doing her nails. And Taylor diverts her, says, hey, go get my cell phone from the car. And while she's away, she tells everybody, okay, I know where we can get some money.
She's very unlikable for most of the movie till like almost the
So you're
very
talking about
end.
Courtney.
Yes.
Not Taylor.
Correct.
Who in this moment is already extremely much more likable. But then there's a weird moment where she says like, hey, I could actually probably get some money. You don't got that kind of money on you. What are you going to do? Sell your solid gold car? Yeah, you going to sell your dress collection? It's like, do you guys want to be paid or do you... Hey, I can relate. I like getting money myself, but I also hate rich people. So
yeah,
I can get where they're coming from.
Like she's, and I don't know at what point the people start trusting her.
Well, it's because at the end of this, they say, hey, girl, no offense, but I think you're just a fucking spoiled brat. And then she says, you're right. I am a spoiled brat. Yeah, and then they say, okay.
She comes to that realization.
Game recognized game. True. So then her and accountant Melvin, they run off to the bank, get the check, because I guess it's like an expense account that both Courtney and Taylor's names are on, so she's able to access the $25,000.
Yes.
And then the workers agree to work another day.
Yeah.
Because now they're
unpaid.
Now they're getting the cheddar, and they're making that cheddar. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if we see a lot of cheese there.
There's a lot of curdled milk, a lot of chunky milk there.
Courtney eventually finds out, hey, I know where you got that money from. Fuck you. Now I only got $5,000 for my party. Everybody hates me. I fucking hate you. Never talk to me again.
She is so unlikable. Like, you hate her. You want to, like, just, like,
and I'm happy that while they started out and it seemed like they were kind of, we don't want to make these girls too unlikable, that they do go all in to...
Well, yeah. So the sisters, were always buddy-buddy, but now they're starting to separate. They're starting to...
They were kind of like sister-sister.
It's the bratty sister now who just is trying to pull away and
So don't worry, she has a very quick turnaround.
Yeah, it's literally like the next scene with her in it. She's already like, it's very strange. It's Disney Channel, really, is what it is.
Oh, Disney. Taylor finally decides, hey, I'm just going to drive to the farm to go see Jackson to give him his check. So she hands over the check. She's walking away, and then she seems to be starting to tear up.
She gives him the check for $9,000, though, right?
No.
Oh, this isn't the $9,000 check?
No, it's for the truck.
Okay.
So yeah, she's kind of tearing up, and then he's like, what's wrong? She's, everything. Which, in a way, actually is kind of like everything, that like she's maybe losing all of the money from their business. The workers are revolting, and her sister hates her. So I guess the tears are somewhat earned.
Warranted.
Here. So yeah, they kind of make up. I didn't fully pay attention, but I guess I should have, because they really make up. And out.
Yeah.
But Martha's having her baby. So... they're running to the barn. Taylor has some dumb thing where she says, I think she doesn't want to push because there's bulls here.
Watching her.
Go
you don't
away,
wanna...
Mr. Bull. And then it's thankfully not like a Ring of Endless Light where we saw the birth of a baby dolphin, because the birth of a fucking baby calf would have been disgusting. They just took like a couple weeks old calf.
It's gooey.
Put some Nickelodeon gack on it and said,
gooey.
hey, here we go. It just came out of this cow's vagina. Which it pushed it out in like 3 seconds after like the bull went away.
It was ready to birth, ready
so now,
to pop.
Jackson and Taylor, hey, they witnessed the most erotic thing possible, a
So
cow giving birth.
So now they want to go have a baby of their own.
So now they're an item. They're walking in the farm field holding hands.
She's wearing a different shirt. She's wearing his shirt.
She didn't get dirty or anything really helping the cow, but then they smooch. And I'm like, really? You guys have had like 3 scenes together, and at least most of the time you were pissed at each other.
Yeah.
And Jacob's like, are they going to like, as soon as we see him, he's like, hey, they going to kiss at some point? And I was like, maybe it's like something at the end, or maybe it will be like, then they're holding hands at the end, but like, they're holding hands pretty quickly, and I don't know. I didn't feel like it was earned.
They start tonguing each other, and I don't know. It's weird.
There was no tongue. That comes later when they're watching the other most erotic thing, Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, no.
Next day at work, Courtney doesn't want to talk to Taylor at all. She's freaking out in the line, telling her to fuck off. And then she screws up with something on the computer of entering in the new sell-by date on the milk product.
Yeah, and so the date that she puts in there, we can just mention it now.
Yeah, it was kind of confusing because, well, it wouldn't be confusing if maybe you just got to pay full attention and not write notes. Jacob had no excuse. He was just looking at his phone.
Well, I don't think I would have remembered what date her party
July
was.
July 17th, or it was
June or
30th,
July, yeah.
And then it was supposed to be like July 7th.
Yeah.
But she changed it to June 7th.
Which was the party date.
No.
The date that she changed it to was the day of her party, the coming out party.
But she didn't change the month, though.
I just know when she's like at the end and when she has a realization that she's like, oh my God.
But the most important thing is she did not change the month, because if she changed the month, the party hadn't happened yet, so then the party would have been in the future. But she put in a date that was already old.
I just think she put in a date that was for her party.
Okay. But it could not have been that date, because otherwise, later on in the movie, when they say all the stuff says it's already expired.
Well, yes, because the day of her party is when they're trying to deliver it. So it would have been expired. It would have been the day of expired already. I don't know. Might have to go back and look at it. Might have to go back and give it a look-sees.
All right. Jacob, I mean, he has a decent track record for
I have been right before.
Knowing stuff. Because, again, he has the luxury of being able to watch all of the movies. He does not. He sometimes sleeps. He mostly looks at his phone. But he somehow still pokes his head up to see stuff.
Sometimes, yeah. See, like, I'm always there. I'm always there.
I hate it. Everyone learns, this was like an extra complication, so this whole date change thing is unrelated to all of their milk batch going bad.
Yes,
because
correct.
that was something Bob apparently was the only one who checked to make sure the silo that stores all the milk ran properly.
Yeah.
Which seems like you probably should have a backup to do that, no matter what.
So yeah, like throughout the movie, they end up just keep continuing to blame Bob. And like, oh, Bob did this. Oh, it's another Bob thing. You know, Bob.
That's not true.
They do. They blame him a couple times.
This is the only time. He stole all the money and he didn't update the milk thing. I mean, those are 2 big things, but it's not like, I can't have my party because Bob took all my fucking money. Yeah, I had to sell the car because Bob stole all of the milk.
Blame everything on Bob. He's a good scapegoat.
Taylor is like, oh, what am I going to do? Now I need more money. Courtney gets a phone call that she's officially been kicked out of the party. So then Taylor's like, hey, well, couldn't we get like a little extra money from your bank account? And she's like, fuck you, I quit my job.
But then doesn't she like go to like her
this is where she
house?
Immediately like turns around.
Yeah.
Because she goes to her friend Heather's house.
Whose father works.
Yep. He
there.
works at the dairy factory. Yes. So he's like middle class at best.
Yeah.
And she goes in. And Heather's embarrassed that Courtney's there because like her mom is working on her dress that her mom has made herself. And Courtney says, I thought you were going to buy something from this fancy store. No, Courtney, we don't have enough money.
Yeah.
And she's like, but why? And Heather's like, you don't really know what it's like for normal people, and you get what you want all the time. And Courtney immediately is like, you sound just like my sister. Maybe she was right. So am I really that bad?
So like in like Heather a 30-second.
Yeah, you really are that bad.
You really are that bad.
But deep down, you are good. And I'm like, is she though?
No.
Within a couple scenes.
Within like 30 seconds, she's like, okay.
Was that earned for her to change? I don't feel so. But then it's like, was it earned for Taylor to change? And I think my argument was that when she destroyed the truck,
Yeah.
She saw how devastating that was to that family to see like the big effects of losing something like that.
Yes.
So that's why I thought maybe she had more of a closer awakening. Or she's just more naturally empathetic and not a sociopath like Courtney. So that when the workers don't have money, she can be like, hey, that seems pretty tough for you. Whatever the case is, now Courtney's had her change of heart.
Yes. So now both sisters are good. Everybody love. Well, I don't know if they love the sisters yet.
And then I think there's something where, so the dairy farm's got all this milk, but then the dairy factory doesn't have the money to pay for the milk, which is like, aren't they owned by the same guy?
But he like gives it up. Like the dad and the son are like, I don't. There's some
no, because Courtney sells the car to then pay them money to buy milk.
Yes, that's what it was.
So she has a different car at one point that she took her driver's test in. So it's not clear if she sold like the classic convertible for $9,000.
I think that's what she sold. Daddy's going to be so mad. Yeah. He just got you that or whatever.
I think even for that time, that car would have gone for more.
Oh, a lot more.
Whatever the case is, now they're getting fresh milk from the factory, dairy farm, whatever. It's all coming together. Courtney also returns her nice dress to get a little extra money to pay the workers.
Yeah, she did. See, she's returning her stuff she doesn't need. It was never worn. The lady there was very snooty. Didn't want to take a return, but gave her the money anyways.
So then Courtney tells Philippe, or she calls Philippe and says, hey, Philippe, you're not going to be able to go to that big dance I was telling you about. And then Philippe's like, oh, I don't. That's not French. Oui, I don't give a fuck about this dance. We're going to the club tonight. Why don't you come with me? And Courtney says, okay. So she goes to the country club with Richie's family and Philippe. And then Philippe says, oh, why don't we dance? So then they go out and dance. And then all the rich mean girls come up and says, what the fuck are you doing here? And wasn't really clear like what stake they had. They just were kind of being mean about the party again.
Yeah.
But then they like leave to go dance in the golf area. I mean, she's still like, her dad's still a member of the club.
Yes.
This isn't the day of that dance.
No.
Why can't they just be there? But they run away because they don't like the mean girls and they're dancing on the golf course. And
then sprinklers turn on and they get a little wet.
It's so romantic.
Yes.
So the girls, they're fully with the proletariat. They're saying, hey, we know what you're coming from. This all kind of sucks. Fuck rich people?
Yeah.
Maybe not quite there. We'll get you some cake, though, huh? Cake?
Ooh.
Fran throws a big shindig and says, hey, let's celebrate being able to get through another week, scrounging up some money somehow. The band's there playing again. I don't know if they were eating pizza, but she says, hey, everybody, this was supposed to be Courtney's big cotillion dance.
Yeah.
Really, people should have been like, the fuck is this bullshit? They got, like, extra dances for rich people?
Yeah, they were very understanding, and they let her get her dance, or they wanted to let her get her dance in.
Yes. But in that moment, Ralph, the delivery driver, comes in and says, yo, all these people refused our deliveries because the date shows that they're already bad. And then Courtney's like, oopsie doopsie, everybody.
Oopsies.
I'm not going to say it.
I done goofed.
I did a fucky wucky. I hate when people say that.
Is that a thing?
At least within circles I exist on the internet, I have never heard people say fucky wucky.
Fucky wucky. That sounds naughty. Naughty, Lucas.
Learning more about where I'm at on the internet more and more.
Oh, no.
So they're like, well, nobody's going to accept the dates being wrong, so we can fix this, but we need a full new batch of milk. Oh, what? How are we going to do that? Well, we'll give it to you for free. We're the nice farm people.
And then that's when the son's like, Dad, won't that ruin us? And he's like, well, if we don't, it'll ruin us anyways. We're going to lose half our business. And
I don't know. Again, I thought they were owned by the dad anyway.
Business talk and blah, blah, blah.
Business, spreadsheets, the numbers.
Yes.
But then we got to work all night and we need extra hands.
We need 25 more people.
Then Courtney says, I know where we can get some help.
25 more people.
Courtney then goes to the country club.
Yes.
And gives an impassioned speech where she kind of is like, hey, I know you're rich and these
people
are poor.
We're all bad people.
But that's all random. It's all based on who you're born to.
How you're born to. We're all lucky.
It feels good to help people. Come on, come help us. Nobody comes. This is actually where they got like a pop punk band that's not the Mighty Mighty Boss Town.
It's not true that nobody comes, though.
But in this moment, they have a face-off with the meanest girl.
Yeah.
Somehow she winds up in a pool at the country club. But then nobody cares because then the desserts came.
Yes. The fire cakes.
So they return to the dairy factory. And Fran says, where are all your friends? Well, apparently I have no friends. And nobody came. But then Daddy's home. Business Daddy shows up. He's got a tuxedo, but he's already suited up with a bouffant.
Oh, he was ready to rock.
And he's coming along with all the people from the country club because he was missing his family. He felt bad about missing that big dance for Courtney. So he was at the country club, but then he found out all this fucked up shit was going on. So then he was the one who was able to win over everybody else. So it wasn't Courtney. It was Business Daddy.
That's true.
He's, wheeling and dealing, cutting some deals. I'll let you in on the cottage cheese biz. I was really into that being like, hey, none of these rich people fucking care about us, and they didn't come to our rescue. But at the end, it is, oh, rich people saved the day. The country club people are good at heart. They get to do a little cosplay as the working class for a night. Isn't this fun? So I wasn't liking that, but then there is a cover of Taking Care of Business by Ali and AJ.
Taking Care of Business.
I don't know the words
too.
Either.
That's all I know.
So this movie's wrapping up. At this point, it is clear, much to Jacob's chagrin, that nope, it was not a trick.
It was him the whole time.
The bad guy.
Boo.
And then the dad's just like, yep, you know what? Some people are fucking evil, but not me. Some business people are good. Bob's bad, though.
They're good like me. Ha ha. Ha ha ha.
Courtney does finally have her spotlight dance.
With the Frenchman, Philippe.
Oh, I thought in my notes I wrote milk bad. I'm like, no, that was earlier. No, it's the milk band. They come up with their instruments. They're doing
the jam band.
The parking lot.
Jim Jams band.
And then everybody else starts dancing too. I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be the spotlight dance for her. But
so Papa and AJ.
Taylor's getting in there with her dad, who then lets Jackson cut in.
Yeah.
Then there's just like old people dancing too.
Start making out and stuff.
Richie hooks up,
he does.
dances with their friend Heather, who I thought was pretty cute.
Yes.
So good for Richie.
Richie.
Maybe not so good for Heather. Then Dad's at home the next morning or day. He's crunching the numbers on his calculator.
It's like $7,000.
Doing business stuff. We actually don't know what it was because Disney
Plus
was
lagging, glitching
was crapping out on us and freezing the image. So, but apparently they're not doing very good. But they're going to be able to skate by. They're not apparently going to lose the house. They're not losing the business.
Cut back on their trips, on their vacations.
Yeah.
They can't get any new school shoes.
Taylor is okay with tightening the budget. Courtney, still a little worried.
I want my shoes.
Can we still get some school shoes? Maybe just not 15 pairs?
Maybe.
Oh, Courtney.
We'll see.
You rich bitch. So then the final scene is the next morning. Dad's going to work and he's telling the housekeeper, I turned off their alarms.
Just let them sleep in. They deserve a couple days.
He's getting in the car and then, surprise!
Here they are with knives in their hands, ready to stab him, kill him.
The girls just say, we love working now. And he's like,
yes.
Do you really need to? And he says, hey, 8 hours at work is 8 hours we're not at the mall.
Exactly.
Ha ha ha.
Ha ha.
All that child labor is wonderful.
And then they die of monoxide poisoning in the garage because she doesn't open the garage door.
Yeah, I don't know if OSHA would have approved of under 18 workers
Children
on a
working.
milk floor or whatever.
Good point.
So that was ring-a-ding-ding.
Got milk.
That was Cowbells. Which I think was a pleasant surprise. I'm not saying... I think this was another at least meets average, maybe a little above average decom. I was really worried that they were going to lean more. I was thinking much more of the simple life of them being like horse sense, getting down and dirty at the farm.
Yeah,
but I really kind of enjoyed like
bad.
the really like stark reality that hit the girls as being like, we're working.
Rich. We're awful.
Now there's no money for these people.
Yeah.
Everybody hates us. And
that was good.
They don't really pull any punches with a lot of that stuff.
That was good. Maybe a wake-up call for some people watching it.
Economic awakening for some. Yeah, for all the really rich kids
that watch
Disney Channel. Maybe capitalism's bad. I don't know. Hot takes, am I right?
Yes.
For some, I guess. So yeah, what were your thoughts, Jacob?
I kind of wish it would have turned into that mystery, movie that I was.
You wanted
really
it to be Get a Clue, where there's a mystery twist
that never gets
doesn't make
solved,
any
though.
fucking sense.
Yes. But no, it was I don't know, just another good movie. It was better than good, I guess. It was a better movie than we normally
great.
see. Man.
What's better than good? It was gooder.
It was gooder. It was a gooder movie.
Yeah. Good one to get us back into things.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed High School Musical. It took a month break. It's always a little...
It really drained us dry.
Always a little difficult to kind of get back into the swing of things with the podcast,
Yeah.
but this was a good one to come back to.
I agree. And then next we're looking forward to Wendy Wu.
True, but
Brenda
before we
Song.
get there, we won't forget, even if it has been a month, to do our segment, Never Remember.
Oh, I never remember.
Could Allie and AJ, or Taylor and Courtney, have stopped 9/11? I would say...
Is this pre or post their awakening to the poor life?
I mean, technically, 9/11 was before, so...
If it's pre, they wouldn't have cared. They would have let everybody
I mean,
die.
literally, they are the reason why, like, the
Yes.
guys attacked America.
Yeah.
They are the
They would've-
prototypical, like, excess of America that
Yes.
other countries hate us
So I
for.
think it depends on the situation. I think it's if it was pre their realization, no, they would have let it happen. Like you said,
But
it
really,
would have
what
been
could
the
they
reason.
have done? How can we spin this? You know,
Yeah.
they sell
Sprayed
stuff
him down
to
with
pay off
milk.
Al Qaeda.
They gave milk to the guys and they were lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
And so they just pooped themselves and they had to go to the bathroom and then the pilots were able to
They
regain
assisted
control.
with somebody, like a cow giving birth. You know?
On
Their
the
skill
plane.
set's pretty limited. They have
Yeah.
internal awakenings, philosophical
She could have started doing math
awakenings.
and stuff to like the pilots and like confuse them.
So, hey, maybe the jokes
Probably
aren't
not.
there, but for once I'll say they could not have stopped
They could
9/11.
not have. I don't think so either.
But if you differ on that take about
Yeah.
9/11 or on our take about cowbells, write us at awholeNewPod@gmail.com. Been a bit since we last had an episode. True, it's been a bit since we last had an episode. But
It's
since
true.
we last got an email, so you
Or
know what?
comments on videos. Leave a comment on the video. Tell us your favorite color of
Check in
socks.
with us. So yeah, find
Yeah.
us on youtube.com/awholenewpod, all
Yes.
one word. Like, comment, subscribe to all that stuff. Spread the love
Spotify.
around. Spotify. Rate us, review us on
Subscribe.
Apple Podcasts. You know the drill. You know where we be. There's some places we are that I don't even know about.
Wow.
Pornhub?
Oh, whoa.
That's
Ooh.
Jacob's territory. He can deal with that. Jacob, maybe, hopefully, getting on Twitter, making a new Twitter for us.
Oh,
Evangelizing us maybe
Twatter.
on TikTok, though.
Twatter time.
You can plug that again, Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob_Telejohn. Check out the lives. And if you check out my lives, well, thank you. And thank you for listening to this.
I don't even know what that means.
Like live
I don't
shows.
understand TikTok at all. And I'm okay. I'm not going to be like old man angry at crowd situation.
There's 1 billion people on there now.
I'm fine with not getting it.
It's okay.
I'm fine with me out of the loop
It's okay.
because it's all good. Because what I'll end out on is something that I did get. Something that I wanted for so long.
Oh.
Since back in at least like 2007,
Wow.
2008.
Whoa.
When Super Smash Bros. Brawl came out.
Okay.
Brought Sonic and Solid Snake into the game.
Oh.
Opened up a new reality of possibilities. And finally, within
Who
the
did
last
they add?
week of this recording,
Who do they add?
final DLC character for Super Smash Bros.
Who?
Ultimate, Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Wow.
My dream of almost 15 years came true. Disney Connection too. So sometimes Disney magic
I thought
is
people
real.
wanted that purple dude. the purple Mario character, Luigi or
Waluigi.
Waluigi.
Hey, you know what?
Is that like a meme?
Waluigi, it 100% is a meme. Waluigi fans, I'm going to leave you with this. Fuck off.
I will say a haunted house is less obnoxious than those Friedman Seltzer movies.
Yeah.
Those are the worst things I've ever seen. They're not movies. We've talked about that with like Jack and Jill, where it's like, what is the cutoff for what can be considered a movie?
Mm-hmm.
Those are not movies. Those are, hey, look, it's the Incredible Hulk. Oh no, he just stepped on Paris Hilton. And Paris Hilton said, that's hot. And then one of... I'm not exaggerating. This is those movies.